Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 4 of our F1 Salvaging Sauber career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Japanese Grand Prix. If you missed out on the last video, it went live a little bit of a while ago from Albert Park. I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. I apologise for basically no videos over the course of last week. I got very ill over my birthday and then basically just spent most of last week in bed. So yeah, didn't get a chance to do any videos on the channel, but we are now back hopefully and ready to continue on. Obviously this series, F1 Championship Edition, all going to be coming back in full force as well. Of course, we've still got just that 1-point finish at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. As you can see, your top 9 in the championship have all already scored at least 20 points from the opening 3 rounds so far this year. Max Verstappen leads the way ahead of Carlos Sainz there and Lando Norris. Yeah, as you can see, behind kind of your top 3, everybody else all very mixed up and down the order with some pretty decent results. We are still P13 in the drivers, P7 in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. I think our battle this season is likely going to be with Alpine as the campaign continues. But yeah, looking forward though to this weekend. I feel like Japan is going to be quite a tough track though for the car. Of course, as always, get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 6,000 subs here on the channel. And yeah, let's head out then here to Honshu Island. Well, I think in Cockpit Cam, a bit like Jeddah, you really kind of understand and appreciate just how scary Suzuka is as a Formula 1 venue, but hopefully we can try and get a good qualifying effort on the board today. Of course, if you guys have been keeping up with our Haas driver career mode, obviously we took pole here. Admittedly, that was a much stronger car than the Sauber we have underneath us. Anything higher than about P16, I think would be a pretty good effort, especially although to be fair, Bottas has been doing a very good job dragging results out of the car, especially over 1 lap so far this season. First Degner though is not even quite flat out there, just a little blender throttle on the way through, but hopefully just got to be careful that you don't use too much battery through the opening half of the lap. But yeah, Suzuka though, no chance, kind of no room for errors. It's an old school circuit. That's what makes it really good fun. And obviously when you're in this Cockpit Cam and you're a bit lower to the ground, you kind of feel a bit more connected with the car. You kind of learn to appreciate just how scary that can be. Let's try to send our way. A through spoon there, a little bit of wobble on the exit, as now we will try and drain a load of our battery in towards 130. I'll make sure I've just got a little bit left, ready to try and put the power down out of the Casio Triangle. I'm hoping for the first time this year we don't end up qualifying on the back rows or a little bit deep on the way in. Tried to gather it up on the way out. It had been a pretty good lap up to that point, but I think I've gone and thrown it away yet again. We have P20 on the grid. Damn it, man. Well, there we go. Max Verstappen will line up on pole position ahead of Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc there. But yeah, we were on, I think, for about kind of P16, just ahead of both those Haas cars, but just a little error down at the final corner. Admittedly, we were only a 1/10 of a second away from Valtteri Bottas at the end of that session, but boy oh boy, it would have been, I know it's like P16 versus P20, it makes very little difference in the grand scheme of things. It just would have been nice.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issei Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid we have Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Tsunoda, Gasly, Albon, Ocon, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Bottas, Sargent, and Mr. Monaco. And now it's time to head down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me, a real authority on all things motor racing. It's a warm welcome back to Anthony Davidson. Well, they say you're only as good as your... Okay, mate, I know it's not a great position to be starting on the grid, and it also puts us slap bang in the middle of the danger zone where risk is high. So be careful, pick your battles, and let's see if we can pick a few positions off along the way.
Well, wise words there from Mark coming out as we get ready on the grid. Then once again lining up in my favourite position so far this series of P20. Not sure how well the softs will go, but I don't want to risk it like I did last weekend in Albert Park. So we'll stick with the softs. If we pick up damage or something like that early on, we can move over to the hard compound tyre to get us through to the checkered flag. As we wait then on the grid here in Suzuka, 5 red lights. Oh, a mighty long hole, but it is going to be lights out and away we go there. And we've actually managed the wheel spin quite nicely as Bottas not getting off to a particularly good getaway. We'll go wheel to wheel with our teammate in towards turn 1 there, but just think better of it down at that first turn. Logan Sargent not going to be able to try and complete the move. Whoa! On Valtteri there, and we will just knock wheels with the American. Just get spat onto the grass. Lucky able to keep the car out of doing any damage on the wall, and that was, again, a bit like Albert Park. A bit of a scary moment on lap 1. Maybe getting a bit too confident too quickly in this series. Luckily, if those S's are good for one thing, getting grass off the tyres is certainly one of them there. It's just taking it nice and easy. You kind of appreciate how narrow Suzuka is when you're racing around here against all the other cars. As down the inside of Sargent once again then. We won't try and commit to a move on our teammate there, but we will make it past the American and up then into P19 early on. Of course, the other big thing as well, I'm so used to obviously a Season 7, a Season 8 car in most of my driver career modes, so managing battery here is really, really difficult earlier on in the game because, well, Suzuka's only really got 2 big braking zones down at the hairpin and then obviously down at the Casio Triangle. As here comes Sargent, wheel to wheel in towards 130R. Thinks better of that one that time round. But yeah, so difficult trying to charge up the battery pack here. So we're just going to have to be sensible with it. Well, I know I talk it about it as well every single time I come back to Suzuka, but the other thing I really struggle with here is the only way I find to be fast is to run a bit more downforce than the AI. They seem to have a bit too much sticking power through the corners there as one of the Haas cars. I would guess that was Magnussen. Just made a little bit of an error. Could have tried to capitalise that at the final turn. Maybe now we'll see Daniel Ricciardo try and go for a run on him back towards turn 1. Only the 1 DRS zone here as well, which makes things even more tricky. Yeah, Yuki Tsunoda, of course, the one Japanese driver on the grid. He had a really good qualifying session. I think, you know, although it might not be great for us in the Constructors' Championship, I would absolutely love to see Yuki score a point here. As you can see, we're nice and confident through the S's, as long as you don't hit that curb the wrong way. And F124 has crashed? No idea what that was about then. Luckily, the game hadn't crashed. It just seemed to have froze up for a second because, you know, hopefully we're going to be getting news about F125 soon, and they still haven't fixed this game. As I think, yeah, this time around, though, surely we are going to see the fight back towards someone there as, again, that Haas car has a little bit of a front lock-up down through the Casio Triangle, so coming under more and more pressure there. I think Hulkenberg in the other Haas maybe as well, losing touch with some of those other cars there. Are we seeing any battling? No, we're not. The V-carb tucked up right under the rear wing of the Haas. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a good track for Sauber, because it tests kind of all aspects of the car. But if we could get like a P15 finish, that would be pretty good. Oh, again! How many times are we going to see Magnussen lock up then? Or at least, I'm still assuming it's Magnussen that's locking up this many times. So, I mean, he's given Hulkenberg now a golden opportunity to try and break away from this kind of little gaggle of cars. But I'm already starting to worry a little bit about the tyre wear here. We're only on the end of lap 6. And already those front tyres not feeling or looking particularly happy. I think we've got to try and just stretch them one extra lap. But yeah, we are going to have to dive in at the end of lap 7. As again, Logan Sargent, that Williams car, of course, got a little bit more straight line speed than our own. As I mean, Magnussen trying to absorb all this pressure that he's under at the moment from Ricciardo, from Bottas, and even myself there kind of getting more involved. Surely this time round we'll see Ricciardo trying to have a look for a run back towards turn 1. No, he's not. How quick is that Haas in a straight line? that even with DRS, Ricciardo can do practically nothing. It might have been worth trying to box the last lap just to get a bit of an undercut here over onto the medium. I think they're going to be a quick race tyre throughout the second half of the afternoon, but as always here at Suzuka, the much bigger thing is just trying to hang on as the tyres fall off. They give you very little feel. Into the pit lane we're going to come then at the end of lap 7. It's potentially not as far as I would have wanted to take the tyres in this Grand Prix, as others just able to extend a little bit further. Of course, I've got no idea kind of where we can afford to slow down in the way into the pit lane there, as I think we've held up a couple of other cars on the way in, so that might gain us a little bit of time. Please can we have a good pit stop? Oh, we got held. We got held up there by someone. There we go. Ricciardo then has got the jump on Magnussen through the pit lane here, but annoyingly, I think that's going to put us a little bit further behind the pair of them. Yeah, we are definitely not in the DRS range now, so we've got to try and push on this lap. Well, I'm trying to make sure I do this in such a way that means that if we don't get the DRS on Magnussen, then I'm not going to be completely out of the range there, and I think we might just be outside of it at the moment. Shortest line through 130R to try and give ourselves the tiny bit of extra delta if it becomes useful. But yeah, I think we've lost the range at the moment then. Is Valtteri Bottas into the pit lane? Where is he going to re-emerge? There's Valtteri then, so... Okay, actually, look at that. Yeah, the V-Carb's got the jump on both of the Haas then. And that's going to work really nicely for us as Hulkenberg, I believe, has slowed up Magnussen quite a bit through turn 1 and turn 2. Let's wait and see. We'll try and get on the radio in a second to find out which Haas it actually is. But yeah, that's worked out immediately very well then. We've also got the jump on our teammate, which of course is rather important. How is that helpful? I'm going to try and save up some battery anyway, but I wanted to know who's in front of me. There we go. Magnussen, so I've got that right all along. That's always important, and that gap does not look like 1.1. Oh, here we go. We've got more cars coming out the pit lane then. Didn't realise there was going to be more cars in the way. Look at that immediately. There's Tsunoda, so no idea what happened to him in the pit lane, but he has lost loads of time there. It's round the outside of Magnussen at turn 1, round the outside of Tsunoda through turn 2 there, and well, out of nowhere, we are into P16 of this Grand Prix. There's one of the Aston Martins. What? I'm guessing all of these guys were on the mediums, and we've got like a good 3-4 second undercut on them over the last few laps, so you would expect them to be a lot quicker towards the end of the afternoon, but if they're going to be on hard compound tyres, that advantage might never really arise for these guys. So, well, suddenly, yeah, this is giving us a bit of a lifeline here to a better result. Just got no idea how good a result it could be. I genuinely think Suzuka might be slightly easier to drive in Cockpit Cam, just because you've got a better idea of where the curbs are relative to the front wheels. Just kind of, I think what it is because obviously you're in the Cockpit Cam, I find personally for me, I take slightly less risk. And that seems to work really well around a track like this, because of course, you know, taking risk can go really badly, really quickly here. As I don't actually know who this is in front of me at the moment.
Okay, the gap is less than a second. Okay,
yep,
they're on fresh cards. Their tyres are 2 laps old.
Yep, I know all that.
1:31.7.
Well, that might be some useful information then. But yeah, Ocon, I think, has just lost the DRS to those cars in front, so he might be a little bit vulnerable as well towards the end of this one, as Hulkenberg is just desperately trying to hang to the coattails of Lance Stroll. But Degners, they are starting to catch me out. Well, 5 laps to go then of this race, and now the hard tyres definitely are getting a bit of an advantage over the mediums at the moment. We are just starting to lose sight of Esteban Ocon just a little bit. Luckily, the same thing is happening for Nico Hulkenberg up the road, but I think, yeah, he might just be able to stay with Albon and Carlos Sainz, Lance Stroll even, towards the end of the afternoon, as... yeah, definitely, we're just starting to see those two strategies play out their own way, combined, of course, with the fact that we have not got exactly a particularly good race car either at the moment in this series, but hopefully with more upgrades, we will become more and more competitive as well, as we wind our way up through the S's. Lap 15 of 19, I just got to try and stay with Esteban, and maybe Hulkenberg can drop back. Oh, Oh no, here comes Tsunoda. I got no fight. I got no battery against him. And Yuki, will make it through. Back down in towards turn 1 there. Was not expecting him actually to get the run that he did on me down at that first corner. But yeah, of course it's Ricciardo, sorry, not Albon, that is struggling a little bit further up the road. So I think all of these guys are going to bunch in on each other towards the end of the afternoon. Like I said, the important bit for us is you hear the back end fighting for grip. The important bit is that we keep getting the DRS here. So if anything happens towards the end, we can be there to capitalise. Well, there's definitely more and more battles starting to go down ahead of me here as everybody's strategy starting to play out in full effect there. Tsunoda now right up behind, I think, yeah, it must obviously be Ocon and Nico Hülkenberg there. And I might just have lost the DRS, despite the fact I'm right now under these guys' rear wings again. Luckily, we do still hang on to it, but 2 laps to go in this GP. I've got no idea where Valtteri is. I would assume he's down in 19th place. Just ahead of Sargent, so I think Magnussen is still waiting somewhere in the wings. Maybe Valtteri is going to be able to make a move on him late on in the afternoon. But yeah, Hülkenberg and Daniel Ricciardo now really start to struggle towards the end. Ocon and Tsunoda. I think if I had the opportunity to swap to their tyres, I probably would take it at the moment. I'm still going to save a little bit more battery though, ready for the last lap there. As yeah, Hülkenberg is actually really helping me out here. Probably doesn't realise it, but the amount he's slowing up these other cars is working fantastically for us. As my assumption then is it's Pierre Gasly that is in that final top 10 position ahead of Lance Stroll. You're basically just trying to take that point away from Lance, right, most of Season 1 inside this game there, of course, unless somebody else has some mechanical issues as well then. But a little over 1 lap to go here from Suzuka. Are we going to see the young Yuki Tsunoda here trying to make some moves towards the end? Again, Ocon trying to look to the inside of Hülkenberg. Will he commit to it? Yes, he will. But Hülkenberg again will swoop around the outside down in towards that Casio triangle. We will try to avoid not absolutely creaming into the back of Yuki Tsunoda there. And again, it's going to compromise us on the exit though. But surely now Hülkenberg is going to be vulnerable back in towards turn 1. Are we going to see Ocon do anything? Tsunoda has a look to the outside of the Alpine. Not quite able to make anything happen again there as Hülkenberg down through turn 1. He is just going to control the pace up through the S's. Not really any opportunity for anybody here to go for anything as we are just trying to wrap the inside wheel over the curbing. Again, you can see how many kind of little corrections we're having to make just to keep the car pointing in the right direction there. A little bit wide up over the top of Dunlop. Do not want to do a Kimi Räikkönen up through there like he did many years ago. Back the first time, I believe, he was with Sauber. But half a charge of battery then on this last lap. We've got to start thinking about using it there as again almost into the back of Tsunoda. But are we going to see Ocon get a run on Hülkenberg back in towards 130R? Are we going to see Tsunoda with enough battery to defend from myself on this last lap? We've just got to try and keep the car planted onto the circuit there. Get a good run. Oh, off of that corner. See another huge snap of oversteer. But now we've just got to try and drain the battery in towards these final couple of corners. Ocon again. We're trying to have a look for it to the inside of Hülkenberg. Can't make it happen. We've got a huge run though on Yuki Tsunoda from a long way back. Tsunoda locks up. We will get the car to the inside there. No contact. The Japanese fans will hate me. Out of the final corner, it is P16.
He has left the field behind. It is victory for Max Verstappen.
And that's 2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, there we are then. Max Verstappen, no one could stop him this weekend as he will take yet another victory here at Suzuka. Lando Norris in P2 ahead of Charles Leclerc. Perez ahead of Carlos Sainz inside your top 5 as well. Fernando Alonso, a decent drive up to 7th there, beating out both Mercedes. And yes, it was Pierre Gasly that rounded out your top 10 come the checkered flag there. Albon ahead of Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Ocon and myself there. I mean, we were aggressive against Tsunoda right at the end, but we did make it work as Valtteri Bottas comes through for P18, beating out Magnussen and Logan Sargent as well there. What does that do to our Drivers' Championship? Well, it means Verstappen now a 33-point buffer at the top of the table, still ahead of Lando and both of those Ferraris. Alonso still in 5th, ahead of Perez and Piastri there with both Mercs inside the top 10. Gasly there in 10th place, still ahead of Stroll, Ocon and myself there. And of course, I think it's going to be difficult for a lot of other drivers to score points this year. Red Bull still with a 28-point buffer in the Constructors ahead of Ferrari. McLaren in 3rd ahead of Mercedes and Aston Martin there. Alpine with another point on the board. It's going to be difficult for us to keep up with them unless we can get a couple of lucky results on the table. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.